There's so many broad issues to discuss, so let's talk to Stephen Fulop, who's the mayor of Jersey City, and welcome here to our programme. Let me take you back and rewind your reaction when you saw those verdicts last night.
I mean, I was as happy as anyone to hear the verdicts. I think it speaks to the fact that there's justice and accountability and the system still works. And hopefully it's the start of a more meaningful conversation around police reform so that Black lives don't have to be lost at the hands of law enforcement that have sworn to protect them.
What do you think are the wider lessons for police forces and for politicians?
Well, look, I think that there's an ongoing conversation in this country about what is the proper way to provide law enforcement public safety and how to engage the community in a fair way. And that's an ongoing conversation. So this is just the start of that process, I think. And you're going to see it unfold over the next couple of weeks, months, and probably years here.
I know your force was accused of brutality as well in the response to Black Lives Matter protests after George Floyd's death. I know you've also revised the guidelines for use of force. Tell me what changes you implemented.
Yeah, I mean, we actually didn't have any violent interactions with the protests that we saw in the wake of George Floyd's death. We actually had a lot of protests. They were peaceful. The police integrated very, very well with the community and provided protection. We were very, very thankful that it worked out the way it did. Since then, we've changed our use of force, though. We've created a matrix for disciplinary action so that the public can have transparency into that. We've expanded our body cameras to protect the community as well as law enforcement. And we're continuing to have an ongoing dialogue with the community on how we can improve. So it's an ongoing process here. We've taken some steps. We're going to take some more. But
specifically, in terms of changes in how you use force, what changes did you implement?
Yeah, there is guidelines from the Attorney General with regards to what types of use of force, how to escalate the use of force, chokeholds, what's permissible, what's not permissible. All of those things were changed in Jersey City. We were actually the first in the state to do that. And we've revisited every single component of the use of force guidelines here in Jersey City. Yep. And we strengthened them to make sure that they hold police officers accountable.
You talk about accountability. In Jersey City, campaigners there have been calling for citizens' complaint review boards, which has the power to suspend or discipline officers who use excessive force. Is that something that you support?
Yeah, I am supportive of that. I think community oversight is important. You have to be careful to choose the right people that are balanced and fair and measured and don't view it from a political lens. But I think community input is crucial. And we're supportive of that, and we are advocating for the state to change that and allow municipalities and cities like us to implement that.
Do you accept that on too many occasions across America, a black person is not treated the same way as a white person?
Yeah, it would be hard to argue that point. I mean, clearly there's a discrepancy between the way white people are treated and the way African Americans are treated when they engage law enforcement. It's not to accuse every police officer of doing that. But clearly there's examples, and thankful to smartphones and cameras, it's becoming more and more apparent to anybody that doubted that was the case.
Your critics accuse you of hijacking the narrative in the last few months of fluff measures. If you have to say to me, look, there are three things in the next 12 months or 15 months that we here in Jersey City and wider America need to change, what would they be?
I think the most important thing that we can do here in Jersey City is the Civilian Community Review Board. That's number one. Number two is revisit what we have in New Jersey, which is the Police Bill of Rights, which is basically a set of laws that protect police from accountability. Police should be more accountable because they're trusted to carry weapons and have awesome powers of policing. And then I think that in New Jersey, there's laws that protect police leadership as well with long-term contracts and limit the ability for elected officials to make changes there. And I think that needs to be altered as well. So those would be the three things specific that I think would have a meaningful impact here in Jersey City and cities like us.
Mayor Stephen Fulop, thanks so much for taking time to speak to us here on the BBC. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks.